The man called for the table to close, then lifted his hand and released the ball. Just another routine spin, like always. The white ball landed in slot number 17. He quickly paid out the winners, swept up the losing chips, and got ready to start the next spin. Nobody had any idea that over the past 15 years, this dealer, doing the exact same motion every single day, had quietly walked away with nearly $10 million from this casino. Robert was born in 1967, and after some family trouble, he had to drop out of college in his sophomore year and take a job doing odd jobs at a casino. He spent 3 full years in that role, and while he seemed completely unremarkable, those 3 years taught him exactly how the whole casino operated. In March 1992, Robert passed his certification and officially became a licensed roulette dealer. His work was flawless, always on time, never any trouble. Exactly the kind of employee any casino would want. And that's how it went for Robert, spinning roulette wheels for 12 years straight. Everything changed on the night of the 12th of August, 2004. The roulette pit at the Belmont was still lit up bright, and a casino regular named Hodges sat down at Robert's table. Unlike most gamblers, Hodges never trusted luck. He only bet on 9 numbers clustered together on the wheel, covering exactly a 90-degree slice of the layout. Over the next 6 hours, using this same strategy, Hodges walked away with a clean $8,400, tipped, and left without any fuss. What looked like an ordinary night at the tables set off something huge in Robert's mind. He knew right away that Hodges hadn't just gotten lucky. He'd figured out something real about how the wheel actually worked. After 12 years on the job and nearly 300,000 spins under his belt, the motion had become pure muscle memory. But it had never once occurred to him that this same repetitive routine might be hiding a secret that could break the whole system. Roulette wheels typically spin at about 3 rotations per second, and the ball is thrown in the opposite direction, losing momentum until it drops, bounces off the rim, and lands in one of 37 numbered pockets. Everyone assumed the outcome was completely random. But there was a known fact in the gaming industry. Every dealer throws the ball with their own consistent motion, and after years of repetition, the ball tends to land within a fairly predictable section of the wheel. From that moment on, Robert started paying close attention to every detail of his own technique. He quickly realized that over a decade of repetition had given him an incredibly consistent throw. His release speed never varied by more than 3%, and the wheel spin rate was nearly identical every single time. After watching himself closely, he confirmed that when he threw from the same spot, he could predict the general section where the ball would land almost 70% of the time. Over the next 6 months, Robert threw himself into testing this theory obsessively. Before every spin, he'd predict which section the ball would land in and log every result in a small notebook he carried on him. At the same time, he studied the 3 different roulette wheel models the casino used, learning exactly how each one behaved, and requested a transfer to work the most consistent one. He even pinned down his own peak performance window, the 3rd to 5th hour of his shift, when his predictions were most accurate. By June 2005, Robert had logged data on 2,470 spins, with his prediction accuracy holding steady at 68.4% during his peak hours. Statistically, betting on a 9-number section normally gives you a 23.7% chance of winning, but a nearly 70% prediction rate completely flipped the house edge, turning it into a massive advantage for the player instead. But casinos have a strict rule. Dealers can't gamble at the casino they work for, so Robert couldn't play himself. He needed someone he trusted completely. He picked his brother-in-law, Jimmy. Jimmy was struggling financially at the time, and Robert laid out everything he'd discovered, holding nothing back. A week later, on his day off, Robert brought Jimmy to the casino, quietly telling him which section to bet on at another dealer's table, and Jimmy walked away with $200 in just 90 minutes, fully convinced the system worked. In July 2005, the two of them officially got started. They played it extremely safe at first, betting only $25 to $50 at a time, testing the waters. Even so, they cleared $24,000 in profit in the first 3 months alone. By March 2006, they'd brought in 2 more trusted friends, and the 4 of them split up the work. Robert handled the predictions while the other 3 took turns placing bets, with only 1 person showing up per day, Monday through Saturday, to avoid setting off any patterns on camera. To stay under the radar long term, they set strict rules for themselves. Never bet more than $500 at once, never win more than $15,000 in a single session. deliberately lose on at least 3 out of every 10 rounds, and act exactly like an ordinary gambler at all times. Between 2005 and 2008, sticking to this level of discipline, the group pulled in $1.8 million total. Robert never splurged on any of it. He quietly stashed away every dollar and kept living exactly as he had before. And he even set up a real estate investment company to make the illegal earnings look like legitimate property income, covering his tracks completely. But beneath the calm surface, trouble was already brewing. In January 2008, a new casino manager doing rounds noticed that Jimmy had won a steady $14,200 in just 90 minutes, a pace far too consistent to be normal luck, and immediately pulled the surveillance footage for a full review. When Robert found out the next day, he panicked like never before. Over the next 8 days, casino investigators reviewed the footage over and over, but all they saw was an ordinary gambler focused on one section of the wheel, winning more than he lost. No cheating devices, no suspicious behavior. In the end, they chalked it up to plain luck and closed the case. That scare left Robert with severe insomnia, but the fear it burned into him kept him sharp through every crisis that followed, and it's what ultimately saved the whole team. The second crisis was far more dangerous than the first, and it struck right at the heart of the operation. In June 2011, the casino brought in a former investigator named Rex, a 20-year veteran who specialized in casino cheating cases, to run their surveillance department. Within his first month on the job, Rex rolled out a new data tracking system that automatically flagged any gambler whose win rate fell outside the normal statistical range. During a casual conversation with his manager, Robert learned, to his horror, that his own cousin had shown up on the system's watch list. He immediately pulled her out of the operation entirely, and the whole team drastically scaled back how often they played, cutting into their profits, but it kept them off the radar. Rex never connected the dots between this suspiciously lucky gambler and the quiet, unremarkable dealer running her table. He just chalked her up to a run of good luck. The third crisis came from a leap in surveillance technology. In March 2016, the casino rolled out a full system upgrade, adding AI-powered facial recognition and behavior tracking, specifically designed to flag gamblers who consistently won big whenever they played at a particular dealer's table. Robert wanted to shut everything down the moment he heard, but his wife calmly pointed out that the new system tracked fixed patterns, and all they had to do was break the pattern to avoid detection. So they changed their approach. Jimmy and the others stopped sticking to Robert's table, instead spreading out across multiple casinos and multiple tables, only stopping by Robert's roulette table for half an hour before moving on. It slowed everything down and cut into their profits, but all the AI system picked up was a group of gamblers with scattered, unremarkable habits, and the team slipped through undetected once again. Over 15 years of running this operation in secret, Robert used his understanding of physics to pull in nearly $10 million. But behind that massive payout was a constant, grinding anxiety. His insomnia got worse and worse, and he'd wake up from nightmares night after night. A manager's passing glance, a security camera turning his way, any of it could send his heart racing and his whole body tensing up, living in constant fear of getting caught. In December 2018, the casino announced it would fully switch over to automatic roulette wheels by April 2019. The new machines came with randomized spin speed control, designed specifically to eliminate any predictable pattern in a dealer's throw, cutting off their entire strategy at the root. Robert felt a flicker of greed, tempted to squeeze in a few more months and grab one last big payout. But his wife firmly shut the idea down, reminding him that most people who get caught are the ones who get greedy right at the end, and that $9 million was already more than enough. There was no reason to risk it all now. Robert knew she was right, and the two of them agreed to shut everything down immediately, ending the entire operation in March 2019, with Robert putting in for early retirement at the same time. Over the next 3 months, the team gradually cut back their visits to the casino, slowly fading out of view. And just like that, a secret plan that had run for 15 years quietly came to an end. The 28th of March 2019 was Robert's final shift at the casino. At 11:47 that night, he ran his very last spin, and the ball came to rest in slot number 17, the exact same number Hodges had won on 15 years earlier. At the stroke of midnight, he handed in the dealer's vest he'd worn for 27 years and walked calmly out of the casino. The security guard at the door didn't even give him a second glance. No one had any idea that this ordinary old dealer had been carrying a secret like this the entire time.